Hi, my name is Stewart. I'm from Scotland, as you can probably hear from my accent. I was brought up in a non-Christian household. Pretty much both my parents were atheists, and my brother, we got involved probably at an early age, we're about 14, into the punk skinhead scene. I remember spending a lot of time arguing with Christians, didn't really understand what they were doing, kind of thought they were just wasting their life away. I remember coming to New Zealand and getting a job teaching, and the person right next to me was a Christian. I remember thinking, I can't believe that this person is going to be sitting next to me who's a Christian. This is going to kind of ruin my job, having fun at work. But actually over a couple of years we became really good friends. I know that she was definitely praying for me, but we used to argue a lot after work, talking about, I would ask her lots of questions, and we'd spend about 2 or 3 hours after work arguing about Christianity. And I never really felt myself getting closer to God, but I knew that my friend was praying for me, and things were probably happening in the inside that I didn't know about. And probably about 2 years before I got saved, I remember driving past this church, and she was driving me in the car, and she just pointed out to the church and she said, "Oh, that's a really good church." And at that time I just said, "Yeah, whatever." I wasn't really interested. But it was interesting that probably when I did get saved, God had planted that seed in my heart. Because I didn't have a car at that time, I was looking for a church. And I remember that my friend had said, that's a really good church. And it just made me realize that God had planted that seed in my heart, that the church was within walking distance. But I'd never have found this place, I knew about this place, without that person planting that seed in my heart. And I just know that God places people around you to speak things into your life, even maybe 2 or 3 years before anything is planned. But back to my salvation, my brother and I were really strong atheists, and we used to argue with people all the time. And I remember him calling me up one day and saying that he decided to buy a Bible, and because we didn't really know anything about the Bible, so he kind of thought if we could maybe learn more about it, it would probably help us when we were arguing with other Christians. But what he didn't know is that he actually, as he started reading the Bible, it just spoke to him. The life of the Scripture just jumped out at him. And I remember him calling me, and I can still remember the words he said to me. He said, "Stuart, we really need to talk." And I could hear something different in his voice. And he just told me that he sat down in his living room and prayed out to God, and he got saved right in his living room, which kind of freaked me out. So yeah, that was his salvation. And then for me, after he told me that, I started thinking about it. I still at that point hadn't come to church, didn't have the Bible, and I just remember that evening just in my own bedroom alone, and calling out to God just in prayer. I'd never prayed before. I didn't know how to pray, and I just felt myself praying. I'm calling out to God, and I remember him just filling me with his presence, which for me is really encouraging, because a lot of people think that a lot of people out there, their friends and their families, it's really difficult to reach them. But I think that God can reach anybody. My friend who was praying for me, prayer is very powerful. She was praying for me. She never really witnessed to me with the Scriptures, but just her life. And I'm sure through prayer, and I'd never come to church, and I never had the Word, but God can work through people's prayers. So I just encourage you that whatever family members or friends that you want to reach, prayers really work. You can reach these people. Whatever you sow into their lives, God can really work on that, and he can reach anybody. Nobody is unreachable. For me, I would have considered myself very difficult to reach. I was so far from God, it was unbelievable. But with just a little bit of prayer and sowing into people's lives, we can reach anybody.